Yo, what is good, everyone? Welcome back to another episode of the Renegade Roundtable podcast here. I am Jeffrey Kirby. As you can see, I am not solo dolo this week like I was last week. In fact, I am here with my boy Jarryd. Jarryd, how the hell are you?
Oh, amazing, man. How you been?
I'm doing good. Obviously, Jarryd was not with us. Caleb last week, work with him and work, and he has a big vacation coming up. We're hoping to get him at some point here soon, but with the way that his schedule is at work, it's just been nuts. But obviously, you were not around last week because you were on the way to Atlanta to go watch the Steelers versus Falcons.
Oh, it was a great atmosphere. 80%.
You actually got to... Oh, wait. You went to... Oh, yeah, I forgot. You went to the Saints game. I was getting ready to say, you actually saw the Steelers win this year, but you actually won 2-2 this year.
Yeah, 2-2 this year.
You went to 4 Steeler games this year. Congratulations to you and all your success.
That's all that matters. I wanted a 500 record. The Steelers did it. Let's see if this win streak keeps going.
Yeah. I mean, so let me ask you this. So how was it there?
Oh my God.
We heard that it was another typical Steelers takeover. Was it really like that?
It literally was. Seeing all the videos and people there, it was at least 90% Steeler fans. There was one section probably in the lower bowl. And the funny thing is, it was by the Steelers visiting tunnel. That's where all the Falcons fans were. Everywhere else, I saw towels everywhere. The atmosphere was insane, especially the Muth chants when he caught the ball. That was pretty insane.
I mean, yeah. I would have loved to be there. That stadium looks so... I think I've decided there's 2 games next year that I'm going to attend. Unless it ends up being the same game. I'm going to go to the home opener next year, which I better see you there. And I also think I might go to the San Francisco game.
Interesting, San Fran. I was thinking the San Fran. They play the Rams next year.
Well, there's
too.
a specific reason. There was someone on the Twitter timelines who asked me to go to that game. So I think you know who I'm referring to.
Never mind.
What were you about to say?
Never mind. But anyways, no. What was I saying? I lost track after what you fucking said. But sorry. But oh my God.
Oh boy. Hey, listen. Listen, there's a lot of inside stuff that we can't say on here, but Jarryd knows exactly what I'm referring to. Oh boy. But no, getting back on track there. I mean, so I've never been to Atlanta.
Mm-hmm.
So obviously, I've been outside of, when I was in Minnesota earlier this year, I went to a Minnesota Twins game. We drove outside of the Minnesota Vikings stadium, and it looks huge. It is gigantic. Was that kind of like the same vibe when you pull into?
Oh yeah, it's huge. I've heard that is a pretty huge dome. Same thing. I've heard Dallas is a lot bigger than apparently
Listen,
Atlanta.
that's a stadium I want to get to. I mean, I hate the fact that probably the next time that we'll see the Ravens in, their at least is not till 2028.
Maybe we'll see.
I mean, for all we know. I mean, obviously, hopefully, I'm in a financial position to do that. But unless, that's a stadium I want to get. I mean, I would be okay with going there regardless for any game. But
for sure.
It would obviously be really cool to see them. And plus, I don't think in 2020 they would have been able to because, Texas doesn't care about rules.
Yep. But that atmosphere in Atlanta is great. The concessions were pretty cheap.
That's something that I've heard.
It is. So it's $8.50 for a beer. So it's not bad. I'm not a beer drinker, but all the beer drinkers was like $8.50, like $12 for a large beer. But food was like $16 was the most I saw for food.
Which,
so
that could be a medium for... You know what I will say? When I went to the home opener this year, that might have been the first time I went to a game and didn't eat anything.
Oh.
Now, if you watched the vlog... Now, Jarryd, you were there, so you saw. It also didn't help that I was carrying around a whole entire plate of food into the game, too. When I was with our boy Herb, shout out to you. somewhat because you're a Michigan fan still, so, you know, there's that. But we're going to get our, real quick, I'm going to say this for 2 seconds. We're coming. Georgia,
God.
we're going to hate. Listen, I want y'all to beat TCU. And then we're going to take care of Georgia. Then we can whoop that ass in a natty. Y'all can have that game in November. When that natty comes, we whoop y'all ass. Y'all ain't never hearing the end of it. Never.
One game at a time. We got to get there first, you know. One game
That
at
is
a time.
true. That is very well true. For all I know, we were going to get smacked by 40. So
Georgia's really good. That's really.
I mean, yet again, what happened in 2014? We played Alabama. They were number 1. We were number 4. We were supposed to get throttled, and we whooped them. So, and then ironically, they went out and beat Marcus Mariota. And what did the Steelers just do? Beat Marcus Mariota so bad he got benched.
No, it was going to happen sooner or later.
Yeah, eventually. No, it wasn't because, they were, it was a matter of time. I mean, I knew someone who was a Falcons fan, which, by the way, it was fun to be able to, he was talking shit to me all morning on Facebook, and I was like, all right, I'll be back at the end. And at the end, I said, I can't wait to give you a hot plate of hot L's. And so what I did is I literally made a meme, a plate of L's. And I said, here you go, here's your plate of L's. But yeah, it was a matter of time, and now it's going to be as another rookie because Kenny Pickett obviously was the first of the rookie QBs to get his opportunity. Malik Willis had a little bit of an opportunity when Ryan Tannehill was out. Now, obviously, with Desmond Ridder, we're going to see a little bit of him. So we're going to see what the future is for them. And my boy Hunter says we're all Baker Mayfield fans tonight, which, yeah. I mean, I'm a Baker fan regardless now.
Oh, got to beat what they play the Raiders tonight.
I think so. Maybe.
Yeah, I think it's the Raiders tonight. Yeah, they got to win. They got to. Well, if you want a chance to make the playoffs.
Well, we're all looking, and Hunter's a Browns fan, but
I know,
and we're looking at it from this perspective. The Raiders are an AFC team. Mm-hmm. And plus, on top of that, we got to go and play them here in a couple weeks. On Christmas Eve.
Yep.
So we got to play them. So obviously, we got to have a chance to beat them. They tend to have our number. The last 2 times we played them, they beat us.
And I was at both of those games.
You were at the game in 2018 in Oakland?
Oh, was it in Oakland? Never mind. I thought it was a home game. Never mind.
Because in 2021, last year was the home opener.
Oh, it was. Raiders. Okay. Then I'm wrong. Don't listen to me. I'm dumb.
Yeah. Hunter says Pickens should go to a team that has a real QB like the Cleveland Browns. First and foremost, can your quarterback actually throw the ball to his chest and not all the way to the ground? Thank you.
Listen, we'll worry about your quarterback first. He has more problems right now.
No, but yeah, I do agree with the fact that we are all Baker Mayfield fans, and it's very ironic. Because obviously Hunter being a Browns fan, a lot of Browns fans have a lot of animosity towards Baker. So, getting into the Steelers, into that game a little bit. I mean, Kenny Pickett threw a touchdown pass. There's a start. Another game where you had 154 on the ground. Here's something and I posted this on Twitter, and this is something that I thought about throughout the game. Before the bye week, the run game was just not necessarily there. It was not that great. You had 1, 2, 3 games of having over 100 yards rushing as a team. The Steelers have had that. They've had at least 100 yards rushing in the last 4 games since the bye. 217 against the Saints, 102 against the Bengals, 172 against the Colts, and 154 against the Falcons. That is good. That is very good. Like 150. I think it comes out to like 156 rushing yards per game.
They need to keep sticking with the run game in the second half, though. That's what they need to keep doing.
They need to do something in the second half and change something. Because it's getting to the point where, what are we doing in the second half? All of our offense comes in the first half. After that, we do nothing. We get figured out.
And guess who? I wanted to give him credit as much as I don't like him. He had a good first half play calling, but that second half, oh my God.
Yeah.
Kept calling the same plays.
It's the same plays, and it's every trip, too. I mean, in the second half, you scored 3 points.
Yep.
Now the Falcons, they scored a touchdown in the third, and they got a field goal in the fourth. That is a trend that we're starting to see, where you're continuously seeing in the second half of games the offense just not being there at all. Look at especially that Bengals game. The Bengals game was like that. It's just, this goes back to some things that we saw last year. Remember that Seattle game? We were up 14-0 at half, we were up 14 going into half, and then the second half, it takes. I mean, what happens? We just fall apart. There's no adjustments that seem to be made, or good enough adjustments that are being made going into second halves, because we're constantly, year after year, game after game, are we seeing the Steelers just either fall apart or teams get back into games in the second half? I don't get it. And over the course of time, at that point, now you got to think maybe it's the path or the coaches, or I mean, there is something. Because there's no reason why year after year, game after game, you can't just still put your foot on the pedal for 60 minutes. Why is it during the second half of games we just kind of fall apart each and every week?
It's a mix of everything. If it's execution, play calling, it's a mix of a lot of things. I just want to say Najee Harris is not Trent Richardson 2.0. He's running harder since the bye. I don't know what.
Yeah, there's 5 yards carry again this week.
Like I said, he's getting better every week. The line is getting better every week, as I said.
Except for Dan Moore.
Except for Dan Moore.
You know what? Actually, though, here's what I can say, though. In the past game, Dan Moore is horrendous. But it seems like when Najee Harris runs to his side with him and Dotson, they run phenomenal. He runs phenomenal on that side. So they're getting pushed up front in terms of the run game. Pass game, not there.
I'm pretty sure the best O-line is James Daniels. Was like top 5 in PFF I saw last, or like number 8.
Fun fact, we love PFF when it benefits us, and when they trash us, we hate them.
Oh, that's how that works. But it's true, but him and Mason Cole are doing really well. You don't hear Chooks' name. Chooks is, I think he's all right.
He is dealing with a shoulder injury, so.
Well, yeah, but I'm talking about when he played on Sunday. You haven't heard his name much. All you hear is Dan Moore. I don't know what's wrong with Dan Moore on flags, on passing downs. It's, oh my gosh, illegal motion.
Yeah, my thing is, when it comes to the offensive line, again, this is something that we were going to see. I think a lot of people expect offensive lines to just be great right away, just like it was with the Cincinnati Bengals. They went out and got a bunch, rebuilt that offensive line. It takes time for it to rebuild. I was going back to the very first episode of this podcast last year. I said that same thing. It's going to take time for an offensive line to gel, to get chemistry, to get connection. And now you're starting to see that. You're not having a bunch of different players in and out. You're not having a bunch of combinations of offensive line. You're having one set of offensive line. And they're starting to gel. They're starting to gain chemistry. They're starting to gain trust. And now you're starting to see the run game has been improving. You're averaging over 150 yards rushing per game as a team. Before, you were averaging 94 yards on the ground as a team. That is close to 60
Shout out
yards.
to Pat Meyer. I think he's our O-line coach. Shout out to him.
Yeah. Hunter says Najee Harris is an O-line shit. Unfortunately, he should start eating his Wheaties and maybe.
What is that against Najee Harris for? What's wrong with him, huh?
Hunter, you're starting to sound like Nick Adams there.
Now, what's against Najee, man? Najee had a bad O-line. He still did amazing last rookie year.
There's one person on Steeler Twitter who I think would try to make some weird argument that Najee Harris is better than Nick Chubb. I don't think anyone is dogging Nick Chubb.
Oh, no, hell no.
And I will even, and Hunter, you know this for a fact. You know I'll say this, and obviously you understand this. People say, oh, it's only because he had a great offensive line. No, 2019 he had a terrible offensive line, and he still went second rushing. He said he was my first-round pick in fantasy this year, unfortunately. Well, he's starting to cook a little bit. I think he's starting to cook a little bit.
Yeah, fantasy-wise, that's a rough decision with the new O-line. That's what, he's a good player, but he can't do everything,
And I can understand, especially because of the fact that A, he's a bell horse running back, and B, he could catch the ball he had 70 receptions last year. That's not been the case for him this year, of course.
No.
But we are starting to see him cook a little bit. He's top 10 in attempts. He is 671 in terms of rushing. He only has 4 touchdowns.
How about Benny Snell getting some snaps, huh?
Hey.
I would have not expect Benny Snell to come back and get some snaps.
He had 6 for 24.
It's still.
Hunter says as much as I troll, I do like Najee Harris.
Okay, good. I had a feeling, but Benny Snell, man, he passed 2 games.
Yeah, he's made contributions. No, Jeff. Now I have that bum. Anyways, we're on to Cincinnati. Okay, here, hold on real quick. We're on to Cincinnati.
That's another tough game. Everyone's playing the division this week, so okay, I don't want to talk about the playoffs just yet. Let's get to the...
Hey, no. Hold on, time out. Do I got to bring up messages of how you were texting me saying, we should talk about the playoffs this year. Playoffs?
This week.
Playoffs?
Well, the Steelers have a chance. That's all.
Yes, of course they have a chance, but will they make it?
Hey,
unless they somehow go on this godly...
I like to be optimistic.
And let's put it this way too: they do not control their own destiny. That's the other thing too.
No, they don't. They don't.
Here, let me let me pull this up again.
If the Steelers win this week, it's a 7% chance.
And it would be nice because that's another win. It's a win against the division. You're 1-2 right now in the division. Because you beat Cincinnati, obviously you lost to Cleveland, lost to Cincinnati in the second match. You would like to...
2-3?
You said what?
2-2 or 2-3 in the division?
If we win on Sunday, it will be 2-2.
2-2.
So, it adds to... But when you look... here, let me pull up the NFL playoffs, the standings right now.
As of right now, the standings were 12th. In the playoff standings.
Well, I want to see what teams are ahead of us.
Okay, so I can tell you right now. It's the Patriots, the Dolphins.
Okay, so Bengals. You got two losses against them.
The Patriots, Dolphins, Jets.
Loss. Bills, loss. We literally lost to the whole entire AFC East.
Yeah, we lost to the whole AFC East, basically. And they're all in the wild card spots, I think, most of them.
Yeah, it's not looking... from that perspective, it's not looking good. But at the end of the day, if you want to win football game... Because here's the argument that we're making. And I was listening to Cleveland radio today, and they do this segment called Around the AFC North. And they had everyone on from... They had someone from Baltimore, Pittsburgh, and Cincinnati. And they were on with Chris Muller from Pittsburgh. And they were saying because the Browns and Steelers both have a 5-7 record, they have a chance at the playoffs, but they don't control their whole destiny. For us, we're in a different situation because we have our own first-round draft pick. So it's like if you're looking at it from this perspective, forget the playoffs, you want to get a better draft pick. Obviously, you're rooting for the Steelers to lose. But if you're looking at it from a more forget it, I want to make the playoffs at all costs, well, then you want to win. Or you could be in the middle where it's like, listen, whatever happens. I just want to see development of the QB. You want to see Kenny Pickett continue to develop. Now, yeah, he has 16 straight quarters. So I think since the bye, he has not thrown a turnover. He has not thrown an interception.
Nope.
That is huge.
He has the second longest streak without a turnover since the bye. I forgot how many snaps it was. I saw it on Twitter.
I know Ben Roethlisberger, I think, longest streak of not throwing an interception was 5 games.
Oh, wow.
I mean, yet again, are you surprised?
No.
There you go. Hunter says, yes, talk about the playoffs, please. And please, and how the Cleveland Browns are about to embark on a sensational run to end the season.
We'll see.
And then Daniel says, Pickens giving me 2 points in the starting lineup. Thanks.
Well, I'm sorry that Kenny Pickett didn't throw him his way a lot last week. I can't control that, unfortunately.
Let's talk about George Pickens for a minute. And I'm going to ask this for everyone, and I don't want to sound like typical hack media, where, is this a big deal? Why is this a big deal? My name's Andrew Filipponi, and I want to make a huge deal about it, even though it's on Wednesday. No one else is really talking about it anymore, but I'm still going to talk about it. It was, I mean, in your opinion, because there were definitely some fans, too, who believed this was a big deal. In your opinion, did you think this was a big deal or not, his lash out?
I think you know my answer. Hell no. Hell no. He's a rookie, for God's sakes. Yes, I understand he wants to be competitive. He wants targets. He wants to contribute to the team. And he was upset. He's a rookie. He'll get over it. You know, he was just upset. Maybe he was open, which is 99% of the times. But it's over drama. You know, people want to hate on Pickens already. He is not another AB diva. Again, he is only a rookie, guys. Only a rookie.
Hunter asks, so Daniel says, George Pickens being a Steeler pisses me the fuck off. And then Hunter says, would you rather George Pickens or Deontay Johnson? Well, let's put it in this perspective. One is making rookie money, another is making $18 million, and his nickname is Deontay Dropson.
They're targeting more Deontay because he got paid as much as I would love to throw more.
And here's my thing, and I've said this before, I've been on record. Deontay Johnson is supposed to be the kind of receiver that rookie quarterbacks love because he has the ability to get open very easily. He gets open easily. It's just, can he hold on to the ball? And when he actually holds on to the ball, can he actually go forward rather than trying to go backwards and try to look like the second coming of Dante Hall? And instead, he just gets tackled 5 yards less than what he should be getting.
Yeah, he needs to go forward. A lot more forward than backwards. I don't know. This hesitation, side to side, try to, juke out the player. Just go forward. Get the yards. Get the fucking first down, please. It happened.
I don't... Sometimes he just makes my
I told my dad this. Pickens, as of right now, he could be a future wide receiver 1. That's how I see it. Not now. I'm not saying he is. I am not saying he is. But if Deontay keeps this up.
I also think part of it, too, was because the media and fans throughout training camp made him come out to be like he was going to be the second coming of Randy Moss. Which I didn't like. I didn't like the fact that he was getting that kind of, like people were just going that overboard in training camp of a wide receiver who's a rookie.
Mm-hmm.
I wanted to see it in person. We have seen him make spectacular catches. We have seen him show glimpses of being great. But he's not there yet. I mean, it took AB to his, third year to actually become AB in terms of the talent. The talent AB. Who's currently still stuck in his house with police around him. EB.
Man, Deontay right now, he is playing like a wide receiver too right now. He is. Pat Freiermuth is getting more targets, more catches out of the field. I think does he lead the team in receiving yards, if I'm not mistaken?
You might be right here. Let me see if I can find that.
Because I'm pretty sure Freiermuth is. Pat's been a good player,
I mean, he had that one beautiful run. The catch and run where he was just shedding off tacklers. He had 3 for 76 in the first half. Did not have a reception in the second half. Which goes back to, again, the offense continuing to not be good in the second half.
And what is with these jet sweeps, man? I'm gonna lose my mind one day in these jet sweeps.
Pat Freiermuth, he leads the team in yards. Deontay Johnson leads the team in receptions with 61.
Receptions, but yards. So he is leading the union in yards. Okay. Still.
Yes.
Shows you something. You can...
Yeah, and Pat Freiermuth has 1 touchdown versus Deontay Johnson, who has 0. 0. Can we talk about that beautiful catch and throw for Connor Hayward?
I was so happy for him, man.
Especially
when I saw
the story that came out after.
Oh yeah, I was touching, man.
Yeah, that I thought maybe some onions were getting cut or something.
But I know I can't. No. It was touching. It was, but when that touchdown happened, bro, that crowd went amazing. Oh my god, that's probably the loudest I've heard it. That touchdown.
Hey, I'm fucking working.
I'm fucking working. Exactly. Let the guy work, man.
Oh man, and that was another thing too that I found out was funny about that whole thing, where it's like people were really just going it. Like, I mean, yeah, on one hand, either just ignore the dude or like, don't be an asshole like that. But at the end of the day, it's another situation of like that getting absolutely blown out of proportion.
Like I said, it's just the title. You know how it is. You click big titles. They want to get your attention.
Yeah, I mean, click, 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 click.
Yeah.
That's what they want. A bunch of clicks.
Yeah, that's all they want. That's how it is. I get it. George Pickens is fine.
Yeah, George Pickens for me at the end of the day, listen, he has 37 receptions for 512 yards. He's averaging almost 14 yards per reception.
It's crazy.
Has a couple touchdowns. He ties in leading team in receiving touchdowns. He's going to be fine. Daniel, you ain't shit for that. You won't understand this, Jarryd. You won't understand it, but Daniel, you ain't shit. You ain't shit for that. I'll explain it to you off air. I'll explain it to you. Just like, yeah.
No. All
right, hey guys, I got something to tell you about. No, I'm just kidding.
That's terrible.
I'm just kidding. No, but no. At the end of the day, when it comes to George Pickens, I don't care. I mean, yes, you would like to see him get the ball more. Of course, some days it's going to be George Pickens' day. Some days it's going to be Deontay Johnson's or Pat Freiermuth or whoever. It's going to be like that. But here's my thing. Here's the perspective. Here's something that we're adding into this. It was also in the same city where he played football in college. His team the night prior was in that building winning the SEC title. He probably had a bunch of family there wanting to watch him do what he does. There could also be the situation where frustration can be included.
Very true. It's very true. And I get it.
I know this for me. If my big fat self was out there playing football and I had a bunch of family members going to be in town, I would want to perform I want to be able to put on a show for them as well. But it's just not how that works. And here comes and then you start hearing when it came to George Pickens about the immaturity stuff, because obviously he got ejected in the Cincinnati game. Then you have this. And it almost like, well, yes, like those are things that you need to clean up, like, but at the end of the day, if this continues on, like if this is something that we see throughout the year, maybe we have an issue then. Maybe.
This is the first we heard of it.
Of this situation, yes. This is the first that we've heard of anything. Because, I mean, there's been games where he's been completely wiped out. We haven't seen anything, or at least seen anything. Did you listen to George Pickens' press conference?
I was trying to listen to it. I haven't had time to hear most of it. I heard a little bit. He said before you'll ask me questions or something. I'm not trying to give you all titles or anything, something like that.
Exactly. At the end of the day, it's another situation of media blowing things out of proportion. Something that absolutely sucks. As Ian Rappaport tweeted a video of Baker Mayfield. He just stepped onto the field at SoFi warming up.
Oh, wow.
Baker, Baker, Baker. Hey, Daniel, you got a reason to root for Baker again because Daniel was one. He was one of the captains of the Baker Bro Club.
Oh, man, Baker, he has to do something, man. He's about to be out of the league.
Listen, this is about to be his last shot,
Yep.
or else he might be doing my DoorDash. Not sponsored, by the way. Not sponsored. Yeah, that at the end of the day was real quick. I want to get into the injury report, and I want to get back to the playoffs thing real quick because it's an interesting conversation to have. But to give you guys an update on the injury report, let's see. Tristan Colon, center, he was not available the last 2 days. He's out with personal injury. Devin Duvernay, I mean, he did not practice yesterday. That was just rest. Lamar Jackson, obviously, we know he's not going to play with the knee. Patrick McCarry, offensive tackle, he upgraded from DNP to limited with a toe. Marcus Peters, he just rested the last couple days. Delshon Phillips, linebacker with a quad, he was limited the last couple days. Patrick Queen, he was limited the last couple days with a thigh. Ronnie Stanley, he downgraded from full participant yesterday to limited today with an ankle. Christian Welch was out with a concussion, or he was limited both days with a concussion. Darryl Worley, corner, was out both days with a hamstring. Kevin Zeitler, guard, was out both days with a knee. And Morgan Moses, he was just out with rest. So that is the injury report. No one officially out yet for the Ravens, but a couple DNPs the last couple days. You know, those guys are trending towards not playing. Steelers, on the other hand, so you have Najee Harris. He upgraded from DNP yesterday to limited today with an oblique. Malik Reed, he upgraded from DNP yesterday to full participant with a back. Chuks Okorafor, he upgraded with a shoulder injury from DNP to limited today. Larry O, he was DNP the last 2 days with a toe injury. That's not looking good. TJ Watt downgraded from limited yesterday to DNP today with that rib injury. Deontay Johnson downgraded from limited to DNP, which some people might be okay with a hip. And then Cam Hayward was just rest. I'm going to be very concerned. I'm getting very concerned about TJ Watt this year. Because obviously week 1, before he got hurt, again, was a menace in a good way. He tears the pec. He doesn't come back. He had the knee injury who kind of got tweaked during that preseason game when people were wondering why in the absolute hell did TJ Watt play that long in a preseason game. He ended up getting a little scope done on that. And then now he's dealing with the rib. He's just all kinds of banged up this year.
He is, but we really need him this week.
And this is one of those situations where if you knew like you were practically out of the playoffs, I would not let him play one more snap this year. But if you're in a position where you're thinking possibly playoffs, which we all know Mike Tomlin is still thinking playoffs, you're going to want him out there as much as you can. Now, on the opposite side, on the flip side, when it comes to Lamar Jackson, who he's not going to play. I mean, he's just not going to play. When you look at, you're going up against Tyler Huntley, who we played last year. We ended up having success against him. There are people in Baltimore saying that Lamar Jackson should not take another snap for the Baltimore Ravens this year because he's not under contract next year. So it's going to be very dicey over in Baltimore this offseason. What is going to happen with Lamar? Are you going to pay him 5 years, $180 million? Are you going to tag him the next couple years? Do you want to play that game? I have a theory for you. I think there are some people in Baltimore who kind of are excited to see what Tyler Huntley can continue to do because I feel like there might be a couple people who might prefer Tyler Huntley over Lamar, which is wild.
That's pretty wild. Pretty wild.
But when you look at it, Tyler Huntley is, I think, a better of a thrower of the football. It looks more natural when he throws the football. Obviously, Lamar, we all know the dynamic that he has, but he's gotten injured the last couple of years, which before last year, we talked about how he was able to run all this, but he wasn't getting hurt. He wasn't really dealing with stuff because he was finding ways to, not put himself in harm's way. But we had the question going into his careers, how long can that play style last?
Not a while, not a long time.
No we're starting to see that. Last couple of years, he's dealing with injuries. Now, it's not a good situation for him this year, especially when you're in a contract year, when you're trying to fight for a big old contract. It's going to be a very interesting situation to look for in Baltimore, and we're all going to be looking for this. We're all going to be intrigued. Us as Steelers fans, Daniel Hunter as Browns fans, Bengals fans, we're all going to be curious to see what's going to happen because he is that big of a dynamic player.
Because if he goes somewhere else, imagine if he goes somewhere else.
It's an interesting conversation. And when you look at, we're talking about the playoffs a little bit later, and again, this talk, goes into the Ravens with their situation. Let me find the Ravens. Okay, so the Ravens right now, they're 8-4. They just beat the Denver Broncos 10-9. The rest of their schedule: at Pittsburgh, at Cleveland, at home versus Atlanta, versus Pittsburgh, at Cincinnati. That is 4 divisional games in their last 5.
Big games too.
Huh?
That's huge games for them.
Huge. Especially, and then you go into, you got Baltimore, or you got Cincinnati. They're 8-4. They're going to play another divisional game or they're at home versus Cleveland, who they are 0-1 against. At Tampa Bay, at New England, coming home to play the Buffalo Bills. That's gonna be a big game, and then you got to play Baltimore again. Cleveland, on the other hand, they got at Cincinnati. Then they come home to play Baltimore. They're at home versus the Saints. They are at Washington, and then they're at Pittsburgh. So you have a bunch of divisional games coming down. This division is still wide open.
Division could come down to the last week.
I'm not saying that we're gonna run the table and find our way into the division. I'm not saying that. Because right now we're 1-2 in the division. Cleveland is 2-1 in the division because they beat Cincinnati, they beat us Thursday night, and they lost to the Ravens. So right now, so they're 2-1. We're 1-2. This division is still wide open, and that's what's going to be so interesting going into these games. That's what makes these games that much more important. Whether you're trying, because if you want me to be real, I don't see the wild card being the path for the Steelers. So they would have to win the division.
They would have to win all 5 games to have a big chance. Well, it'll be, if they win all 5 games, is a 91% chance they make the wild card.
Because look at your schedule. We have at home versus Baltimore, at Carolina versus the Raiders, at Baltimore, at home versus Cleveland. So you have 3 divisional games, 2 of the same opponent. The other one you lost to earlier this year. And on top of that, you have losses against the New England Patriots, the Cleveland Browns, the New York Jets, the Buffalo Bills, the Miami Dolphins. All those games against AFC opponents who are that could be in the way of playoffs. That is what stayed. That Jets game is going to sting for both sides. The Browns, when you and me were in New England, I remember Hunter texting me saying we won, and then about 5 minutes later, literally texted me we might lose because they blew a game against the Jets. We blew a 10-point game against the Jets. We got slaughtered by the Bills. That Miami game, Kenny Pickett, throwing 3 interceptions, and we had a chance to win that game. We didn't. New England, you guys, I know that was Mr. Trubisky. You put up 14 points. You didn't get a single sack in that game. We were there. in person. Those are huge losses. If you could even have had one of those losses back and be what you would be 6-6, you would be in a much better situation. It's a different story. Like, I would much rather maybe lose to Tampa Bay and take one of those wins in the AFC. Easily. Now, yes, it sucks that you still have a loss, but I wouldn't be. But like the win against Tampa Bay, to win against Tampa Bay, it was nice because you break the losing streak, and it was you beat Tom Brady, and then the next week I would have much rather have that flip flop. I would have rather lost to Tampa Bay and then beat Miami.
I would love that.
That's just kind of where we're at now. I mean, at the end of the day, I truly don't see playoffs being that big of a shot. I mean, again, until we're out. I mean, it ain't over till the fat lady sings.
They're gonna be competitive till the end. If we lose this week, this is it. This is it. I would like to. I'm sorry. I want the Steelers to win games, of course, but if they lose to the Ravens, let's get a good draft spot.
Especially when you're gonna be then 1-3 in the division. Yeah, no.
But let's get a good draft spot. I'm not trying to be mean, but
It's a different thing too. Here's my thing too. When we come to the playoffs, if you make the playoffs, obviously that means Kenny Pickett must be doing something.
Oh yeah.
But it's like, at the end of the day, do you want to slog your way into the playoffs
and lose the first round
and get obliterated in the first round like you did last year against the Chiefs? I mean, at the end of the day, of course I want to see the team in the playoffs. I've said this for weeks and weeks. Monday through Saturday, we're okay with draft picks. We're okay with lose, and then Sunday hits. Obviously, all hell breaks loose, and shit hits the fan. And forget all that. Give me a win.
Oh yeah.
But it's just all I care about is the development of Kenny Pickett. I want to continue to see him be in command of this offense. I want to see him continue to learn from his mistakes. We're starting to see, he's obviously, yes, he is missing some throws. Okay. Mm-hmm. That's going to improve over the course of time. We're in an era where if you don't have instant gratification, instant success, it's not, it's not good. Mm-hmm. Not everyone is
You're
going
a bust.
He's a what?
I said he's a bust.
Well, I mean, literally, that's how it seems like it's being. It's like, if you don't have it, I mean, Patrick Mahomes, he sat out for a whole entire year. He sat behind Alex Smith. No, yes, granted, he also has one of the greatest offensive minds. Joe Burrow, he was pretty good his rookie year before he got his knee shredded. Justin Herbert, okay, it's like, if everyone is not Justin Herbert, like, there are quarterbacks who take a little bit of time to develop. Jalen Hurts, he was the guy people were questioning whether he's not a bust, but whether he's going to be a franchise guy. He, in his third year, they got him a great wide receiver. You see what that offense started to do. You see what Nick Sirianni has them doing. Tua Tagovailoa, people are writing him off like no tomorrow. We're starting to see him develop. It takes time. It's the NFL. Not every quarterback is going to be great week one.
Jalen Hurts for MVP, by the way.
Yeah.
I know Patrick Mahomes is up there too, and Joe Burrow, but
I don't know. It's between those two.
You got to give it to Jalen Hurts. He's balling out.
But you could also say same thing for Mahomes.
Same thing for Mahomes, but just it looks a lot better. If you want to go by records, he's really, we want to go by there, but his stats. I know his stats don't show it, but he's been balling. All three of them have been balling, but I might go Jalen Hurts right now.
I think I would have to go with Dan Moore for MVP.
No. But yeah, anyways, with the Steelers making the playoffs, by the way, if it happens, they have to win all 5 games to have a good chance.
And then on top of that, then you would probably still have to have some type of help.
Yeah, well. With all play, they'll need some help for sure because it's 91% chance according to the New York Times they win all 5 games. So they would have to have some help.
This is just looking like I don't want to say a lost year, but at the end of the day,
listen, I think we have our guy. Our guy's going to get there. Kenny Pickett's improving every week. It wasn't a big step this past week. It was a small step. It wasn't his Colts game was the best game of the season for him right now. The Colts game was probably his best game.
Actually, you know what's ironic though? So Ray Fittipaldo, he's a person who covers the Steelers. I think he gave him his highest grade for Kenny Pickett this week. I think he gave him an A-.
Oh, wow.
Which there were some people, you got the pony lovers, or the Kenny Pickett lovers like Andrew Filipponi, who are happy to hear that. But yeah, the Colts game, he looked in. I mean, the last couple of weeks, he's looked in command of the offense.
He should be more of it. More. I need more. More in command of the offense.
More.
As much as you want to listen to Matt Canada, if you have to run your own plays here soon, just fucking do it, bro. I want to see it, like what Ben just did. But he's not Ben, of course.
I was gonna say, and here's my thing. And here's something that we're in a weird era too, where it's like we want to see Kenny Pickett thrive, but we want to see Matt Canada go. It's like it's not going to happen.
Nope.
Because at the end of the day, if the offense is thriving, Matt Canada is going to get some sort of. If Kenny Pickett just decides to fall off the cliff, well then now you got multiple issues. Now you can get what you want. You might be able to get Matt Canada out of here, which I still don't think is going to happen to begin with because we all know the Steelers don't like to fire assistants. They don't like to pay assistants. They don't like to
another
pay
year.
Huh?
He has another year.
Yep, and that's something to EB.
As much as people want him to go,
but at the end, and here's the thing too, it's not like I just hate the guy just to hate the guy. If he becomes great. That's what we want. We want him to be good. I want him to be able to call great plays. But when you have the track record or lack thereof as a play caller, and you're just beyond bad, and the only reason why he got the job is because he helped Mike Tomlin's son get a scholarship. I mean, my God. That's where we're at. I don't want to see Matt Canada, I don't want to see Matt Canada fail just to get him out of here. I want him to be good, but I want him out of here because he hasn't been good. That's where we're at.
No more jet sweeps. That's all I want.
Oh my God. Matt, country up north. Good God. It's weird when I see a team run a jet. I think I saw the Chiefs, run a jet sweep, and it worked. And I'm like, I wonder why that jet sweep worked.
You don't call it every time.
Oh my God. It used to be like a drinking game with jet sweeps where take a shot anytime we ran a jet sweep. Felt like at some point in time your liver was going to be saying, help me.
They should utilize Connor Hayward a little more.
Yes.
They should run him with the 2-back set with Najee, maybe Hayward in the backfield or something like that. Like Kyle Juszczyk, basically, what he does. Which I think will work, not all the time, of course, but something different than seeing a jet sweep every quarter.
Or didn't they was it the Colts game or was it this game where they did a little pitch whatever thing to Zach Gentry?
That was the Colts game.
Throw that as far away. Throw that play as far away as humanly possible.
That was the worst play call I've ever seen.
That might be worse than the play call or that. You remember the fake punt that the Colts ran that was just completely awful against the Patriots?
Oh yeah, the one man under center.
So,
oh my gosh, bro.
Ari Miroff.